And it is time, everyone, for CyberCast IRL. It is Friday, September the 12th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you're not familiar with me and you just kind of parachuted in here from various and sundry areas, I'm your host, Daniel Lowry. I do this cybersecurity thing. I've been doing it for a while. I've been a trainer and a practitioner for a little while now, so hopefully we can get something out of you. This is kind of a fun little thing where we get together, we talk cybersecurity stuff. Bring your thoughts, bring your opinions, whatever they may be. They are allowed and on the table for us to discuss and ruminate over and go, that's an interesting point. And that's really what I wanted to do with this. That's what the purpose of the show is for us to all kind of learn from each other, gain new perspectives, new thought processes, and maybe even pick up a new tool or new something cool that we didn't know about, and collectively, what do they say? A rising tide raises all boats kind of thing. So we can help rise each other up and learn new stuff when it comes to cybersecurity. That said, if you do have questions for me, if you do have comments that you want to make sure that I can address and see that, well, we've got this cool thing going on over here. It's called the chat. You see that chat right there? You see like Legrat here. It says, morning all, winds are rolling. My name is nice and bold and red. Like that. We also get this from Divine Dream Divine. Good morning to and good vibes, Mental Edge. So if you want to get my attention, that's the best way to do it. I can see it really well. You can see how easily that kind of pops out. This is something a little new that I'm doing today, where I'm trying something different with the setup. I'm going to keep the chat there, and then we can have that up and rocking and rolling as we go. So there you go. So if you got something you want to talk to me about, you know what to do. At my name. Now, I am but a humble man. I might miss a thing or two from time to time. There's Wayne's Real World. He is also in the chat, kind of our unofficial moderator. And he will try to spam me and like, hey, so-and-so is trying to get your attention on this, or they've got a question about that. And so hopefully with our powers combined, we will be able to come together and get your questions answered, your comments talked about, and those topics rocking and rolling. All right, there's enough of the warm-up. Hopefully that brings everybody in. We should probably start seeing, yes, and I do, tons of people in the chat already. I see Alice Grimm. I see Nerdpocalypse. I see Kyle, Camara Gonzalez. Good to see everyone today. Sierra Montgomery, Bram Weitzman. Good to see you, Bram. Who else we got? Phil Stafford in the house. Emilio Garcia, Space Tacos. Mental Edge, right? We already kind of called you out. So I'm glad to see you're here. Tons of people. Luke Canfield, Relinquo, Luback. Oh, man. Christopher Ryan Rains is in the house. Chris Young. What's up? Phil Stafford. John Brock. Raid from Team SC. Always love getting that Team SC raid when everybody shows up. I see Space Tacos is already kind of like hinting toward it's pour time. And I'm not going to lie, kids. Papa Dan needs it today. I am dragging. I'm like, I cannot wake up. And I got good sleep. I just don't know. I guess I woke up in the middle of a sleep cycle or something, and it was time to get up kind of thing. I wasn't quite ready for it. But what we do here before we get too far down the road is I got to get my tackling fuel in me. I got to fuel up and feel the caffeinated stuff coursing through my veins. I don't know what it's liquid, I guess. I need it to course through my veins so that I can actually perform for the show. And the way we do that is we pull out the Lord's Camo Cup. Woodland Camo is the only acceptable camo in CyberCast IRL. And then we grab a monster because I'm a monster drinker. And we do a little ASMR for you in the morning here. I don't know, I've got this fan on. I'm going to turn it off. I don't know if it's coming through on the thing. I heard there were some audio issues on After Dark, somebody in Jerry's and Simply Cyber. But today, I don't know if I might have tipped my hand there a little too much. Today's episode is going to be not sponsored, but enjoyed by me through Monster Energy's Ultra Peachy Keen. That's right. I love to see everybody like trying to figure out what I'm going to be drinking today. But yeah, Peachy Keen, this is one of my faves. Delicious. It's sweating already, but it's going to be great. We do a little ASMR where I take the microphone here and I tilt it down. And then we got to get the crack of the. Oh yeah. Yeah, there we go. Get a little good stuff there. I can already smell it. It's so good. And then we pour it in nice and slow and let it fizz and pop and crackle. Oh, it's so much fun. Are we ready? Are we ready? I know I'm ready. Let's get to it. The pour must be just right. You can't have too fast of a pour and too slow. It's an art form. The distance of the can from the cup to oh. The ice actually followed it to the top today. That's not normal. Oh, it is. 'Tis on the brim. We almost had ourselves a little hazardous spill here, but it's time to get a little bit of that action there because this looks good. It smells amazing. Yes. This was a good choice. Oh, man. You hear that ice? Yes. Yes. And for proper security, we put a lid on it and close the lid so that we are not doing dumb things like spilling Peachy Keen Monster all over my stuff. That would be bad. But man, that is tasty. Oh yeah, that's exactly what. Look, I'm already perked up, right? As soon as it hits the lips, goes down into the gullet, it's like eating a sensu bean for me. For those of you that get that reference. I can't wait to see the chat fire off. Phil Stafford saying, fragrant is good, pungent is bad. I did not know that. I was unaware, but man, that's a tasty thing. Don't you just love the pour? The pour is fun. If you enjoy the pour, you can keep me fueled up with Monster. There's a link down in the description there to buy me a Monster, and you can purchase a Monster for Daniel. And that way we can enjoy them together continuously and let the fun never end. There's also a link for my Discord down there, so if you want to join the Discord, jump on it. Let's have a good time, and I hope to see you in the Discord as well. All right, now that we're good and squared away, we have done things. I am seeing a text here, and sometimes when texts come in, they are important. So I'm making sure that there is a... It's from my wife. She's such a supporter of the show. And me, and I love her very much. I'm so glad she sent me that text. Thanks, babe. All right, let's get into it now. Let's check in with chat and see what's going on today. If you got some questions or anything, and maybe I can start working on those. All right, let's see here. We've got, let me back this trolley up because I did see my name go by. I did see one right there from Alice. Alice always has good questions, but I want to make sure I didn't miss anything useful or, important. Happy Friday. Oh, man, lots of great stuff coming in from the raid. I do love seeing all you good folks in there. White Zero Sugar Phil was hoping for a white one. No, it was not the Ultra Zero today. But I think I don't see any more. I don't see any questions. Just some good mornings, which is always nice. All right, let's jump down and see if Alice has got a great question for us today, because I know she does. She always does. Where are we at? Where'd you go, Alice? Cancel my... Oh, what is this? Who is Spotlight on the show intro? I'm the star. That's right, Legrat. You are the star. That's the only reason we come to CyberCast IRL is to hang out with Legrat. Payload Payton, cancel my meeting today. Told them I had a scheduling conflict. Nice. Don't get fired, please. It's not a good time to get fired. Don't get fired for IRL. Let's see. Phil Stafford misses nothing. He simply... Oh, this is a fun thing we've been doing lately. This is Daniel Lowry facts. So in the Discord, we've kind of started doing Chuck Norris facts, but with me. Phil Stafford is saying, Daniel Lowry misses nothing. He simply chooses not to comment. That's right. Howdy, Straw Hat. Good to see you. Okay, here's Alice's question. Advice on how someone new to the space can pick a project to work on when everything looks so interesting. How do you narrow that down? Told you Alice was going to come with the fire questions, as she always does. So it can be a bit of Babette's feast out there when it comes to things to learn and that are interesting enough to actually garner your attention. You're absolutely right. That is a difficult thing for anyone. Bit of a subjective answer, right? It's gonna be very personal to you on what you find most interesting. And ultimately, what I would start off with is kind of taste testing, right? Build you a little platter of things and kind of make your way around the horn, as it were, and try a few things and go, oh, I like that, I like this. But there's always going to be that one thing you're like, oh, this really resonates with me. And that's why it's a subjective answer, right? Because that's going to be, same for some people and different for others. But once you find that thing, that's when you got to go, okay, even though I liked all those other things as well, this is the thing I want to focus on for right now. And then you need to block that time off and go, I'm going to take this time every day and I'm going to read about this. I'm going to build labs. I'm going to test things. I'm going to do all sorts of stuff. And I'm going to have that time is specifically dedicated for that specific topic. Even if it's only 30 minutes, honestly. 30 minutes every day, right? But it's pennies in a penny jar. You have that big pickle jar and you start throwing pennies in it. After a while, the thing will overflow, right? You will be filled with pennies. You will be filled with pennies of knowledge. And that is what we want for you, right? So, because if you never kind of focus in, if you never get honed in on any one specific thing, you'll have some kind of general knowledge about all those things, but no depth. And that's going to be bad, right? You do need to get some deeper knowledge than just being familiar with what those things are. Because if that was okay, you could get your Security Plus, and that's what every, security practitioner would have, and that would be the end of it. But that's not how it is, right? We need people to focus. We need people to go into niches. We need people to specialize in certain things. And then, of course, the way you do that is going, this is really interesting to me. I need to get deeper knowledge. I'm going to get on the... Man, listen. Daniel yesterday was on the struggle bus hard. And this is kind of thing that's going to happen when you're testing and learning and doing stuff. I'm currently trying to finish this Pen Test Plus course, right? It's going in the Simply Cyber Academy library. It's going to be great. It's going to be fire. I can't wait. I've got literally like 3 episodes left to film. Of course, I saved the more difficult things for the last. And of course, it's being difficult. You're like, okay, let me get, and this has been my career, by the way. This isn't anything new to me working from home or anything like that. This is just how it goes. So if you're ever wondering, what's it like to be someone that makes courses and training? This is how it goes. You get all the fun stuff up front that's easy, and you get at it and you make stuff and you're like, man, this is going well. I could do 5 episodes a day. I could do 6 episodes a day. I could do 8 episodes a day. Then you get to the ones where it's like, there's a lot of setup and infrastructure and a lot of moving parts. And you're like, this is not as easy. So you work on the demo, make sure it works as you think. You get your notes just right to say, okay, don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. And then you go to do it with the camera on and it goes, hey, I've got all these fingers on this hand. There's one of them in particular I'd really like you to focus on. That's what the demo does to you. And you're like, why? Why are you not working? Why did this work yesterday and not today? You're going to encounter that, even if you're just working in your own lab environments. But through that, being on the struggle bus, so all aboard, you're going to get that deep knowledge. And that's what we're all steering on. All that to say is, that's how you're going to work out that deep knowledge of what's going on, because you're going to have to sit there and go, well, why isn't this working? Why isn't this doing the thing I think it should do? All right, let me go back to principles, right? So this should work like this. These are the moving parts inside of there. Based off the output that I'm getting, what's the most likely breakdown? And you start Google searching, you start AI researching, and you do all that fun stuff, and you get in there and you go, okay, well, I think this, and so to tip my hand, I was having trouble with some Kerberos tickets. I had them injected correctly, but they still were not, I was getting access denied, even though I literally could do K-list administrator of the domain that I had built. I'm like, what is going on? It seems that there was some conflict between the ticket that I was working with, which was DES encrypted, versus the server, which was looking for AES. And even though I legit had that ticket, it was like, nah, dog, That ain't how we work. I'm looking for that AES. You got that DES, it's not what I'm about. Right? So now I learned a little more about this specific technology and what it's doing. And that is going to give me deeper knowledge. That's going to be, and then that's going to translate into the course for me to be able to tell you, by the way, fun fact, this doesn't always work. And here's reasons why. And when I started learning about computers and just getting into IT in general, and for necessity, you have to learn how it works. But they tend to stop there. When you learn IT, when you learn cybersecurity, when you learn just about anything, they always show you how it works. They never teach you what to do when it doesn't, or the common things that make it break. That really, that is, now that I'm thinking about it, that is like a common thread in many training, if not all of it, to say, well, this is how it works. That's all you need to know. Well, no, because it doesn't always work, right? Because if it worked all the time, the jobs would be easy. That'd be how it would go. We really need to start adding in CompTIA you can say, well, we have a troubleshooting thing. And yeah, okay, there is that. I think that Microsoft used to have a certification called the MCDST, the Desktop Support Technician, and it was actually fairly good at that. I got to be honest. I don't know if they still have something like that, but that was a decent cert. That was useful because it did talk a lot about, hey, this printer's not printing. What do you do? And a lot of troubleshooting steps. So yeah, A Plus has a lot of troubleshooting in. I think Net Plus has troubleshooting steps into it as well. But after you get out of that, you don't see that a lot. We really need to add that. Note to self. All right, but great question. Hopefully that's a good answer for you, Alice. Always good stuff. All right, let's jump back into chat, see what's going on here. Looking through. Obviously, nice things being said. That monster is the pits. Peachy. Yeah, it is. It is delicious. All right, moving on. Then his computers would be monsters if that happened. Okay, you guys are having some internal chats. Now you get to see what's going on. Every time I start to scroll, sometimes it just jumps to the bottom, and I'm like, hey, you missed some stuff. Now I got to scroll back up to see what I missed. All right, let's see here. Where are we at here? Good morning, Daniel. It's been a while. Looking forward to Deadwood. Unfortunately, I will not be at Wild West Hackenfest this year. Things came up, and I will not be able to make it. Tear. So sad. Let's see. What else is going on here? Super User Do, swinging by to show support. Friday morning schedule is hectic nowadays, but I'll be catching up this evening. Cool. Good to see you. Anything else? Yeah, okay, cool. Now we're kind of getting caught up here. No, I said I had a white monster in celebration Friday. Thank you, Phil, for the clarification. We have to hide chickens and eggs for Friday. Okay. Good morning. It's been a while looking for... Okay, there we go. Thanks for confirming. As a Leo, I always knew it was all about me. You are funny. Working with Linux in a hospital since it has a terminal disease. Carrie, you and your dad jokes. He's like our James McQuiggan. He always got the dad joke for us. Can build a snowman out of rain. You know I can. Daniel Lowry fact right there. True story. I built a snowman out of rain. What else do we got here? Good morning, Lost Packet. Good to see you this morning. Pick something you love, not what everybody else is picking. Oh, good advice, Wayne. Good advice. Speaking back to Alice about, do something not just because it's trendy, but because you actually really like it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't learn trendy things, because those are going to be good for resumes and things of that nature, and to kind of future-proof your skill set. So you do want to stay on top of those things. And then when you get time, spend time on that stuff. I mean, it's a never-ending ball game of learning. So just strap on your seatbelt on that struggle bus, because it's where we live. It's where we live. And then Phil Stafford says, LLMs are great for ideation. I put ChatGPT on voice mode in the car and brainstorm while I'm on the bridge. Great idea. Phenomenal idea. Thank you, Phil. Furious George, Wes Bryan shared with me some great advice regarding learning. Start with your basic certs, A plus, Net plus, Set plus, and then when you know what you're like, get something vendor specific, specialized. Yes, you always have to start with this. You want to build on a solid foundation. You always want to start with a great foundation of knowledge, because if you try to do it the other, it would be like me taking you up into an airplane and going, see, you've got the stick, you've got the yoke, you've got pedals, look at the altimeter and speed and fuel and fun stuff. And you go, hey, check out that thing down there by your feet. That's an important thing. And you look down, you go, what thing? And you look back, and I've dove out of the airplane with a parachute and went, land it yourself. You're like, whoa, I don't know. Literally, you just showed me the stuff on how to fly an airplane. You didn't actually tell me how to fly it. So that's where you want to start. You want to start with good foundation. So A plus, Net plus, Sec plus has always been a great trifecta of foundational knowledge. Not that you necessarily have to go get the certs. Doesn't hurt at all. If you don't got the time or effort to get that into, that's fine. Just get that knowledge. Just don't sleep on working on your foundations. And then from there, when you niche, it all makes sense. Now you're like, hey, what does that thing do? And you can kind of lean and go, well, based on what I do know, I can kind of extrapolate what I think it does. And you're probably going to be somewhere in the ballpark. And it's going to make learning that more specialized thing a whole lot easier as you go, right? So great advice there, Wes Bryan via Furious George. Cyber Saint, do you know of any good places to find the sampler platter of cybersecurity? Yeah, Hacker News, Security Week, CISO series, right? Bleeping Computer. Just start doing all that stuff, right? So if you go to something like the Hacker News, right? This is going to be a great place to start, because they're telling you exactly what goes on throughout the week. Okay, ransomware. Let's say you're completely new to cybersecurity. Hybrid Petya ransomware bypasses UEFI security boot with CVE. Okay, cool. There's all sorts of stuff that I can utilize just out of this. If I'm straight up new, I know nothing from nothing. Green as green can be. What's a CVE? What's ransomware? What's UEFI secure boot? I got 3 topics right out of the first thing to go, cool, I'm going to go do some learning on that and figure that out. And I can read this article. Maybe there's some information here. All right, cybersecurity research has discovered a new ransomware strain dubbed Hybrid Petya that resembles the notorious Petya, not Petya malware. What's that? Is that important? Cool, it's malware. Okay, I can go look those up. Look at that. There's nice links to that as well. So this becomes kind of like a choose your own adventure way of sampling things. All right, so now I'm looking at ransomware. I'm looking at things of that nature. What else do we got? We've got another CVE, actively exploited. Interesting. What's it against? Looks like CISA is letting us know you need to go check this out. Critical security flaw impacting Dassault Systems manufacturing operations management software. It's a known exploited or the KEV. Okay, I'm learning all sorts of fun stuff. There's like a scoring system. What's this? CVSS. I don't know what that is. Right? So this is just a great way to kind of organically learn this stuff and kind of figure out what that sampler plate looks like. All right, you're probably going to see stuff. Okay, there's stuff about AI. Cursor AI has problems. Cool. Here's some mobile security stuff. Hey, maybe that's really interesting. What's that AI generated media authenticity? All right, mobile stuff. Interesting. I can learn about Google Android security. Okay, that's a great idea. Let me start Googling that. So that would be like how I would do it. And it is how I do it. So if you're looking for that sampler plate to build, just go grab some of your favorite news outlets or ask them, like some people in chat, jump in Discord and go, hey, I'm looking for great places to start. What would be a great place to start going? Hey, what's my foundations? Where can I begin? Where's some good places? So looking at OT and ICS, you can look at obviously cloud. We've got AI now. We've got things like Kubernetes. We've got like just all this fun stuff, containers, mobile security, traditional infrastructure, web applications, APIs. And now you can just start to kind of pick and choose your stuff out of there. So hopefully that helps you out with that. Great question. Great question. So let's see here. Ooh, see how it jumped on me? Y'all see what I work with now. I'll grab some of these down here. Code Brew says, in grade school, Daniel Lowry made a teacher raise her hand to talk. That actually might be true. David Toohey, I'm trying to get my first cybersecurity position. I'm told 30% of jobs are got from online ads. However, the other 70% are hidden and go through networking. What you think? I don't know about percentages wise, but networking is a really good way to find work, because I've said this a million times. Cybersecurity is about trust. It's about building trust relationships with people, right? We use these terms in the digital realm. We use them in the technical realm, but we forget that they also apply to meat space. They also apply to the real world. You need to be making friends and associates, acquaintances by going to things, joining communities and groups, building one if there's not one available. Find yourself at as many cons as you can work your way to. A lot of the local cons tend to be very low cost. It's a great way to get out there, see the vendors in your actual area. They might actually have a job, right? You could build up a relationship with people in that world. LinkedIn used to be a whole lot better. It's weird now. So I want to say it's still somewhat useful, right? But you really got to work it. You know, and it's never been something that was like a magic genie that you just rubbed the lamp and jobs popped out. It's always been something that you had to go in and actually engage with and work with. But, you know, it started off a little cool this morning, but it's warming up in my studio. I have to get the AC going. But, yeah, it's still a place where you can get into and build some connections there, but you got to work it. You got to work the system, and you got algorithmic weirdness to kind of deal with there. But if you can kind of get it figured out a little bit, then it's probably still worth the squeeze in my estimation. So the juice is worth the squeeze, as the saying goes. Furious George is saying, LinkedIn feels a lot trashier now. I have some AI slop in my feet. Yeah, you know. Okay, here we go. You ready to talk about AI? Let's talk about AI. Here's my real thoughts. I'm gonna get real with y'all. Y'all ready? So the people like CEOs of companies, let me do it this way. Instead of telling you what I think, let me ask you these questions. Do you think that a CEO that is very money driven, that is very about profits and the bottom line, cares whether or not that you can do the job versus better than their AI? If the AI costs them less, right? Ben is already putting out the term there. Good job. Yes. Right? They don't care whether or not you are better at it. At least not all of them, right? And if that becomes a trend towards profitability, where they are getting a lot of return on that investment, that's what I fear about AI. That's Daniel's big scare. Like the boogeyman in my closet at night, I go, if they only care whether or not it can do it well enough. They already obviously don't care about security. I mean, let's be honest. Jerry's complaining this morning about how the FBI director is having to tell people to patch their systems. Like, this is a strategy for us. And he's absolutely right. You need to have a patching strategy. You need to have good password policies. These are not new things. He went all the way back to 2003. Like, we've been doing this for over 20 years. We've been telling you to have vulnerability management, to have patching system, like the whole 9 yards. So why are we still having to tell you that 20 some odd years later? Because they don't care. All they care about is done is better than perfect. Profits. We'll fix it. They don't like, look at many of the stuff. Back when I used to do Technado, every single week, it actually became like go watch any news. Watch Jerry's show, watch any cyber news. It's going to be ransomware because someone clicked something. It's going to be ransomware because they popped a VPN password. It's going to be ransomware, or it's going to be whatever, right? They installed malware, they installed ransomware, they did all the things because we're not doing the things that we need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen. Why? Now, if I tell AI to do it, will it do it? I don't know. Probably. So it doesn't matter whether it can or it can't. I fear that the people that are in charge of what happens, that they won't care. All they care about is, will it do the thing? That's where I get worried. That's where I get worried that they'll go, well, just use AI. Just use AI. I had Mike Saunders on the other day, right? And we asked him, what do you think about AI being used to find and exploit things, maybe using it in an engagement? And he got a bad taste in his mouth and almost threw up on the screen. He's like, no, yeah, right? It's like, I feel you. I feel that. I get it. But if I'm a business owner and I'm regulatorily mandated to have a pen test every year, and I can get away with not spending 20 grand on a pen test with real people, and I can get away with doing automated pen testing, why wouldn't I? Tell me what's the problem. For me, compliance is security. Right? I checked my box. It said, did you do a pen test? Yes, I did. AI killed it. How do you know? I don't know. That stuff's magic to me. See, that's where my fear is. That's where my fear. So we have to evangelize. And really, I think, I'm honestly, you're listening to me work through this in real time right now. And I know you got questions. We'll get some more questions. We're only halfway through, so we got a little bit of time. Furious George brings up a good point, right? He says, I think the way around is to be AI literate. Help you become better cybersec system admin, help desk person. You can be more efficient. I totally agree with that statement. You have to be learning AI systems, at least for right now. That is going to be a good stopgap, right? That is going to be a good way to go. The real problem comes from a few years down the road. If we reach that whole superintelligence thing, that's going to suck. So again, goes back to, I've seen Wall-E. I know how that story ends, right? We like to float around on cushions of hoveriness, drinking our monster. And it's like, oh, and a robot brings it to me. I don't even have to, we're putting AI into robots. Pretty soon they're going to be doing, there goes your plumber job, right? That's my fear. Hopefully that I'm just over exaggerating in that there will be a new AI economy where people are using AI. That is the hope. I think that is the thing where everybody's like, hey, if that's how it goes, that's cool, because it just becomes the new tool that we all use. But the superintelligence thing is where I get freaked out. I'm just like I said, I'm laying my cards on the table today. Real talk from Daniel. I've seen a lot of people talk about how it is on its way, if not already there, and they're just not releasing that information. In Discord this week, I watched the CEO podcast or whatever it is, with someone who is an AI specialist, and they were saying all these exact things, and letting you know that it could get scary. So be prepared, right? And again, Furious George, jumping in. I love having these conversations with you guys. Notebook LM has been an incredible tool for me in my current studying. I feel a good source material and have it make study guides, knowledge checks. Yeah, like we're both saying, I totally agree with this. Be using this all the time. Be getting better with AI. Learn as much about AI as you can and incorporate it into your workflow, create agents, all the fun stuff. Skynet is real. Yeah, it is. Let's see. Black Shell. A lot of money is being pumped into without any profits or anything new. This could cause an economic crisis like the one that happened in the dot-com crisis. Right. That's an interesting thought. Good point. All right, let's get off this AI topic because now I'm freaking out. No, I'm kidding. I think we've got a few years before this is really going to culminate, but we need to be getting, like Furious George said, if you're not learning this stuff right now and incorporating into your workflow, you're really doing yourself a disservice. All right, let's see here. All right, let's move back because I think I saw some questions back here. I learned something new. The laptop battery has a card inside it. This is from Carrie. The battery for the brains. Inside the battery for the brains, which mine might be bad. I'm still charged. Okay, so he's working on this laptop. It's having some weird power drain issue. Very cool. Daniel Larry crushes diamonds in Nicole. Good morning, Wes Bryan. Good to see you, my man. Let's see. Moving on. Code Brew saying, I was hoping to meet you at Deadwood. Yeah, I'm hoping to make it to Simply CyberCon. That is on my to-do list. Let's see here. How does one simulate or emulate a SIEM alert? This is from Irene Conrad. Great. Stand up a SIEM. You don't have to emulate it. You can just, I guess you could simulate that. So if you're running like a Linux system, you could create a script that creates SIEM or SIEM alerts. I know it's a religious war on how you pronounce that. I always thought that like the word believe, I-E-V-E, is, but then you have die, right? Which is D-I-E, and it's I. So it's not SIEM though. SIEM, whatever. Anywho, so you could emulate, but the better thing to do is just stand up an actual SIEM in your environment. Like build a lab. Get out there and grab Splunk, grab Security Onion, Elastic, whatever the case is, spin it up. You're going to get some great hands-on with that technology, which is going to lead to actual logs, and then you can attack the thing, and it will generate a log. It'll be fun. And that'll be way better than simulating it, right? It'll be a real log against a real attack that you can look at and then build alerts for, and then learn to fine-tune those things, and then figure out, a way to ticket that or trying to build your workflow. That's a great question, though. And it's something you should totally do if you are into that blue team life, if you want to be that SOC analyst business. Phil Stafford, that is perennial tension between the business needs and the IT security needs. If it's working, that's all they need. Yeah, that's my fear. It's not that AI is great or can do it really well. It's that they don't care whether or not that it does it well. Can it do it? Doing it at all, and they're happy. I'm like, no. So we need to be evangelizing that. Yeah, it can do it, but you don't want it to, right? I can fix your muffler, but you don't want me to, right? That's my welds are going to be disgusting. You're going to have exhaust leaks. It's not going to be nice, right? But if you're fine with done's better than perfect, heck, with AI right now, sometimes done is just done. It's not even close to something that looks like perfect. Furious George, A+ 1201 and 1202 don't cover troubleshooting steps anymore. What? I'm outraged, sir. That is ridiculous. At least they have it in Net Plus. What in the world? All right, moving on. I've been playing with Metasploitable 2. This comes from Lost Packet. And Wi-Fi hacking stuff does this make job ready for junior penetration tester with 2 years experience IT support focused on network and infrastructure? Okay, great question. Interesting question. I like where your head's at. You're building labs, you're making stuff. So Wi-Fi testing, that's cool, right? If you're really handy with Aircrack NG, things like Wi-Fi and Insider, those analytical tools that will help you do that job really well, that could definitely kind of set you up, especially if you're looking for specifically to niche in Wi-Fi pen testing. So that's going to be a great way to go. So keep up the good work on that. Metasploitable 2 is good to kind of get the basics, but it's so exploitable. There is no difficulty to it. I would say it's time to take it to the next level, to graduate to something a little more difficult, and maybe jump into some hack the box stuff. Right? So take the stuff that you've learned in Metasploitable 2. Now it's time to apply it to somewhere. Or maybe you graduate to try it. Maybe that's a better path. Maybe go to try Hack Me, work your way through some of the modules there. They do have free stuff. I would also go to Portswigger's Web Security Academy, free. Going to learn a lot of great stuff about web app pen testing there. You can also, what am I doing? Hello, let's do this. Let's go to Portswigger. I will drop this in the chat. I guess I need to do, there you go, Academy. Booyah. Go here, sign up, do all the things. Based. Booyah. Love Metasploitable 2. It is a great thing and it will be useful to you. We're also going to go grab this one, right? So for your lab environment, go grab Websploits Labs. Going to drop this in chat too. Copy, paste. Go install that as well, because that's going to give you things like, and it's just a simple one-liner, but you get WebGo, you get Juice Shop, DVWA, Motility 2, DVNA, Hackazon. You also get some more intermediate to advanced level stuff with HackMe, RTOV, Mayhem, Safe Mode, Galactic Archives, Secret Corp Branch 1, Gravemind, DC30. So you got all this stuff going on here. Really cool stuff. It's all built in Docker. Now I got to sneeze. It's going to happen. Are we ready? Whoa, that was crazy. Wow, that really kind of blew my mind, literally. So those are some good ones as well. I would also, just for fun, go to Hacker 101, I think, or it's Hacker 1 Academy, right? Academy, yeah. One. Come on, Daniel, get your fingers right. Here we go. This is a good one. Hacker 101 for hackers. This is going to be great because it's going to allow you to like actually work. So they have kind of like CTF thing. Pop that into chat there, paste, bam. Once you get started, okay, thank you. You can like do their CTF stuff and then it'll get you invited to actual bug bounties, like private bug bounties. So sign up for that and then play around in Hacker 1. I don't know if oh my goodness, it's this game. Bugcrowd has anything like that. But I also like Pentester Lab. Great platform. I don't know how much free stuff they do. I think they do have some stuff. You get started today with our free exercises. So copy that. Pasteola. Paste. Start messing with this. And then when you're ready, it's all Hack the Box, which is a little less helpful for you. Hack the Box. Right? They've got Hack the Box Academy. You've got Hacking Labs. Lots of great stuff going on here. Copy. And then paste that in as well. But the great thing about Hack the Box is they don't really do a lot of hand-holding for you. That's where you're really going to be able to test yourself on how well you're able to do that job. And they have certifications. So does TryHackMe. Pentester Labs has badging. Portswigger does have a certification for working with Burp Suite, Burp Suite Certified Professional or something like that. Really great stuff. So lots of stuff. Now it's time to graduate into the more difficult things and then get some certifications, pick one or two, and then you're ready for jobs. All right, let's keep looking here. Do you know of any good places to start the sampler? Okay, yeah, we were there. Cool. That catches us up. Let's jump down. Booyah. West Bryant in the house. Right there, West Bryant. I'll get this is a little distracting. Let's see here. Good morning. Straw Hat says MetaCTF Cyber are hosting CyberBAFE 2025 CTF tomorrow. If anybody wants to do some hacking. Yeah, you'll have to bring your A game for anything from MetaCTF. It's very technical, very difficult. Typically revolves around binary exploitation, reversing, cryptography, that kind of thing. They do usually have a few more beginner-friendly stuff, but don't be surprised if you get to that and you're like, cool, I'm feeling good. And then you're like, I am out of my depths. Thoughts on technical project manager in the cybersecurity space? Like, in what way, David? If you could clarify just a little bit, we'll come back to you. Let's see here. What else is going on? What else did I miss? Navigating, let's see here. Wayne's Real World says, good book, Daniel Lowry, Navigating Microsoft Copilot for Enterprise Data Privacy, Security, and Governance. Your CIO's playbook for secure, private, and ethical AI deployment. Thank goodness. Thank you, Wayne, for dropping that in there. Everybody should check that out. Payload Payton, what am I seeing that is making me nervous is I'm getting pushback from execs is this phrase. This is why we have cyber insurance. Yeah. Okay. That's not why we have cyber insurance. That's supposed to be like the last bastion of hope. Like, we have done everything we can and we still got popped. Not, I got cyber insurance. Yeah, that would be like, I'm looking at my roof and it's leaking. It's got, what are the shingles are just falling off everywhere. It looks really bad. You can see some rot. And I go, that's what I have insurance for. You still got to replace it, right? Negligence. And honestly, that should be, insurance companies are typically just legalized theft, in my opinion. But if you are just straight negligent and leaning on your insurance to save you as like some golden parachute, that should be illegal, right? That is some kind of type of fraud or something. It seems wrong, right? Just think about that. If I just go, well, whatever, man, I got a car, I got insurance, I can just run around smashing people and they'll pay for it. No. I don't have to wear my seatbelt. I don't got to like put my parking brake on when I'm on a steep hill. You were negligent. You didn't maintain the device. You didn't do your due diligence. You should have to prove. Like, if I get medical insurance, I have to take, like if I go get like, death, like accidental death and dismemberment kind of stuff. I know it's getting morbid now, but if I don't take care of myself, and I get some horrible disease because I'm rolling around in a cesspool, should they have to pay for that? I mean, that doesn't make sense. I was irresponsible. And anyway, yeah, that's irresponsible of them. If that's what they're saying, that would be my response. I'm like, well, that's irresponsible. That's not why we pay them. Phil Stafford says illegalized stuff is the entire system. I know, it's just insane. Furious George is out, got to drop. Good to have you today. Thank you for joining us and all the great conversation you brought to the table. Phil Stafford, cyber insurance won't pay out if you haven't performed your due diligence. Good. Let's see what else we got in here. Looking for my name. Thoughts on, oh yeah, you guys can see this. Thoughts on technical project managers. Let's see. Did David O'Neill ever? Looks like we got a message detracted. David O'Neill. There we go. There it is. What would you think that a technical project manager in the cybersecurity space needs to have as far as training and skills? A technical project manager. I've never done project management, so I don't know. I mean, some familiarity, obviously, with what your team is doing is going to be helpful in that space. Starting to lose my voice. So that's not I'm more of like an engineer. So I'm somebody that likes to put my hands on the keyboard. I'm not someone that likes to manage a team of people. I like to do stuff instead of asking people, how are you doing with that stuff you're doing? And then, having meetings and doing that kind of thing. So I'm honestly not the best person. Jerry, on the other hand, would be great to answer that question. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you on that, but I mean, a technical project manager, obviously, if it is a technical project and they are managing said project, they're going to need to know a bit about that project. So like, what's the project? Are you building a web app? Are you building a software application? Are you standing up a security control system? Are you standing up an OT system? Are you what are you building? What are you doing? You will need skills in that vein. I mean, that's just, me just kind of reasoning it out. So that you can help understand the woes and tribulations that your team is going through and be able to translate that to the people that are above you going, hey, we're working on that. Here's the pitfalls that we've run into. Here's the some kind of stumbling blocks that we've tripped over. We didn't realize that this, and this. So we're going to have to move the scope and blah, 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 and bring that in. So that's kind of their job, I think, is to be that intermediary between the technical team and the management. So, and then of course to help pull that project across the line and set realistic deadlines. I know, right? Because that's what happens every day of the week. Realistic deadlines. So hopefully that helps. But again, yeah, not my forte. Some Kyle saying PMP certs and Project Plus. That will be in your vein right there. Phil Stafford says it's better not to have insurance. If you're getting to be that negligent, then you can save that money instead of just giving it to insurance. Yeah, that's true. I think we are caught up. We got about 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to lean on this thing and do some more stuff. I feel like today was a bit of an odd episode so far. We had some interesting questions, though. We definitely got esoteric, right? We went after things that are not the, how do I stand out from the crowd in my job? So I can have a better resume. I can have a better this and get. Typically, that's the kind of stuff we get a lot, which is cool. There are people that need to know that. But I'm just kind of looking through and seeing what else. So let me ask you guys this. Let me throw a question to you, good chat. What are you working on? What's the thing that has got you focused right now? And what do you think is going to be the next thing that you're going to be working on? Because that's always that. We've always got something on the horizon. If you're working on something right now and you don't have next step 2 already kind of like what you think you should be getting ready to do, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to figure that out today. So for me, let me think. What am I working on right now? So I'm working on my Pentest Plus course. And the next thing I want to start working on is I want to build like a banger of a Security Plus course. After that, I want to start working into some AI stuff and maybe some other courses as well. Because as everybody knows, I pushed my chips in to making training again. I'm going to make training great again. Meta, right? Yeah. And that'll be fun. For me and hopefully for you as well. But I've always got to think of what's the next step? What's the next thing we got to be doing? What's on the horizon? Maybe do a CEH course, maybe do that. So that's on Daniel. But things I need to learn is definitely more AI. Probably working on like agentic stuff, how to implement AI in a security space, maybe build an AI helper, like to do a lot of things that we do. That could be good fodder for the YouTube channel. A lot of fun there. So let's see here. What do we got going on here? Christopher Ryan Rain says, great show today. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate that. David O'Neill, thank you for your input on the subject. Sorry I stumped you. No, it's okay. All right. That just goes to show like you can't be everything to everyone. There's no way to know everything about this. And that's great because then you can niche. David, you could be the next great project manager for technical teams. And that would be awesome. And then you could start a YouTube channel. You can have a blog. You can have all that fun stuff helping other people because you were like, man, I saw a real gap in knowledge and resource. And now I can help fill that gap. Zero Dave Security said, for people wanting to learn SIEM or SIEM, Elastic is running a free on-demand training until October 31st. Can I post it? Absolutely. Please do. And all you got to do is kind of like put some brackets around the colon and the HTTPS thing and it'll post. If it doesn't, send it to me in Discord or post it in Discord. Let's see here. Great show. Always making Fridays. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. That's what we're trying to do. I'm learning from you guys just as much as you're learning from me, at least hopefully. Kyle, speak for B-Sides Orlando pre-conference Career Village, speaking at Cyber Bay 2025. Cool. Good job. I will be at B-Sides Orlando. I have my ticket. I look forward to seeing you there. Phil Stafford, I'm building an AI-enabled MCP security registry, and hopefully I'll be able to release the 0.1 version of my analysis engine by the end of the month. Cool, right? That's the kind of stuff I want to get into as well. Just got to have the time. Y'all don't know. Building a course, it's 84 episodes, I think, just for Pentest Plus. What do you think Security Plus is going to be? It's going to be crazy. Furious George, homelab build out for Net Plus practice, blog documenting it, yes. And public notes, then Security Plus. And then considering starting my undergrad degree in IT. Look at you. You got everything on. You're like a chef. Just things on the fire. I love it. It's like watching, my Benihana chef go crazy. He's got all the stuff on the thing, working on one thing, got other stuff just heating up, bring it over, bring it in. That's what we're doing. We are Benihana chefs when it comes to our cyber careers. Cyber Saint, my current project is passing my last class of my bachelor's degree. Next focus will be cert hunting and starting a channel where I share what I've learned. Very good, very cool. That is exactly what you should be doing. Monster trying to kill me. Let's see here. MJ says, I'm late. Please forgive. Question. If someone has a master's in cybersecurity, A+, Net Plus, and Security Plus, trying to get into the cybersecurity field with no luck, what do you recommend? Man, how much time you got? Because we only got 4 minutes left of the show. There's the question though, right? Luke Canfield working on some drone stuff. We'll get back to that in just a second. CPTS module for Straw Hat Sec will be streaming today, tomorrow, Sunday for 4 hours doing Hack the Box challenges on Twitch. Very cool. Everybody go check out Straw Hat Sec's Twitch. Security Plus training didn't prepare me for one thing my Security Plus training from Crystal Nolan, my Security Plus training didn't prepare me for was the interpersonal stuff and the challenge of advocating for security to people above you in an organization. Yes. Getting buy-in on doing good security, that is not an easy task. People are just like, I don't care. It's not a problem. It's like, it is a problem. It's a real problem. Go read the news. It's a problem. Let's see here. Emilio Garcia, creating a demo for highlighting features and installing custom software. Next, CISSP. Oh, get it. I encourage all of my TPMs for all my OffSec teams to learn as much as possible about GRC over being a PMP. Yeah, GRC's what's up. It's the new hotness. It is the new hotness. Got to check out Jerry's show. You got to be on Simply Cyber. He will preach that GRC stuff to you, and he's got great training for you, so go get it. David Tui, what do you think about making your own website? I think it's a must for any aspiring cybersecurity professional. There's nothing wrong with it, man. Get out there and do it. Do all the things. It's fairly simple to do. I don't have my own website right now. I've obviously got YouTube. I've got, what else do I do? My brain is starting to shut off. I'm winding down. I got to get more fuel. Obviously, I do this. I'm creating training, trying to get stuff out there for people. So hopefully I'm trying to be the helper. I'm trying to advocate. I'm trying to be the thing that helps you get into the next thing that you're trying to do. Just finished, Merrick. I cannot say your last name, Merrick, so I'm not going to try. I've just finished a phishing and AWS course. Next will be Michelle Khan's OSINT course. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Setting up Proxmox, hosting my own services, VPN, password manager, DNS, etc. Look at you. That's right. Labbing it up. Legrat. GRC. Carrie says, I have to shelve my computer skills and hopefully one day I can get into into the tech department of the school I'm in. Very cool. The Lost Gambler. For those that say security isn't an issue, ask them for permission to hack their accounts. That will show them. Enjoy a great weekend. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are coming up on time. So how do you stand out? Honestly, right there, right? There's your question. Getting no luck with getting in the cybersecurity field. Let me just go ahead and we'll end the show with this. It's a difficult time for cybersecurity. building those relationships is going to be your number one thing. Everybody's got security certs. Everybody's got home labs and skills. You can't not do those things and look to get into it, but you do have to do other stuff on top of that. Building tools, GitHub, stuff like that. Again, everybody's going to tell you that, oh, I'm doing that. So now it's like, well, what are the things that are new and exciting that are difficult for other people? I've recently been really interested in OT and ICS. They need a lot of help. So niching into cloud, OT, ICS, AI, that kind of stuff, and doing it now, being an early adopter and putting stuff on your resume that points to the fact that you are doing that, that's going to be super helpful to kind of like stand out from the crowd. They go, oh, we've got CyberSaint here. Not CyberSaint, but MJ. And they're doing some really interesting stuff. They're on the cutting edge. That's different. That's how you do that. So I know we're out of time for today's episode, but ultimately it is kind of difficult to stand out from the crowd at this point. Everybody kind of knows, and then the market is saturated. I'm sorry that this is just how it is. This question cannot be answered with the time that we have, honestly. I hate that it was so late in the episode. If we had caught this earlier, we could have got to it a little bit more. I'll spend a little extra time. I'll go a little over time to try to help give you some more meat on that bone. But there's so much that we have been telling people for years now to do, and people have listened. And now that's become the status quo. Now that's the thing everybody has to, it's expected that you have all those things. So to stand out is to look for, okay, so what do everybody not have? Can I specialize in something? Can I niche into something that nobody else is doing? Maybe get into hardware. Start doing get those practical skills. Reach out to nonprofits and actually say, hey, let me perform like a vulnerability assessment for you, and we'll trade skill for experience. I'm sure there's plenty of 501c3s out there that would love, because they have no money, to go, that would be awesome. Draw up the paperwork, sit down and have a few meetings. That's all experience. You putting experience on your resume is going to stand out. That's going to be what's most helpful. So go. I was telling people on Jerry's show this morning, go do bug bounties. Go do responsible disclosure. Right? Let them know, hey, there's open scope. Let me jump in, see what I can find. Even if you find something that's stupid, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a laundry list of CVEs. Doesn't hurt if you do, though. Right? That's a great way to stand out from the crowd, is actually applying the skills you're learning into some real world way. You just got to know how to do that. Now, building home labs, chef's kiss. Not just going to, I'm try hack me, top 10%. That's good that you are, but you didn't build any of those labs. You just kind of did the walkthrough and, solve some challenges. That's good. You should be doing that. But now go build your own lab and see if you can recreate that. Because if you know how to build those things and how to make them insecure, you're going to know how to not only exploit that security, but to give some advice on how to keep it from being exploitable. That's going to make you, I can recommend security controls and mechanisms on stuff. That's what's going to help you stand out from that kind of thing. That's a very short answer, a very, very thin slice of an answer for you, but hopefully that gives you some way to get started. All right, we are at time. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. Don't forget, Discord link is down in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got to build the channel. Got to reach more people. And we'll do this thing again next week. Don't forget about CyberCast IRL. I'm not IRL, but After Dark on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. We do have a great, great guest coming in. It's going to be a lot of fun this week, so be sure to show up for that. Be on the lookout for me dropping who that guest is within the next couple of days. Going to have some fun there. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep hacking.